So welcome back to more of Mega Man 3, and we're going to be taking on the remaining bosses. And you know what, we might as well start with Top Man. And this is a pretty sensible choice for a lot of people to start off with, and the reason for that is this stage is pretty simple. And yeah, you just start off with some short little platforming. There aren't actually that many pits, but there are some spikes that you do have to worry about. And see, right away, if you notice the plants in the background, I guess that's supposed to be Japanese maple. And that was actually a shirt that I think my biology club had, and it was a picture of the same plant, and then it said, in the back it said, "It's a Japanese maple, what were you thinking?" So that's just a fun little story. But instead, all I'm doing is just getting up here and avoiding the guys that shoot the tops. And yeah, let's just go ahead and get Rush Jet up so we can get the stuff. This first part's a little tricky because you do have to worry about spikes, and there are also these nuts and bolts things that are gonna sneak up on you, and they can catch you off guard if you're not careful, but fortunately you do have invincibility frames and you should be able to make through it. And let's see, I want to go up here because I want to get a life. And it's right there. And yeah, one thing about this stage is it is pretty easy to go through. You don't really have to worry about any particularly big stage hazards. I mean, there are a few gimmicks, but it's really not much that is going to give you that many problems. And here's our first mini-boss. It's a cat that just likes to shoot out these strange-looking hairballs. Not really sure why they would be hairballs, but they are. Probably not. And again, I don't really know what I am seeing. Let's see, these guys shooting tops, they're pretty easy to deal with, just as long as you have the proper weaponry. And I am going to be switching weapons a lot in this stage because, well, really, it's not too hazardous, and really the enemies are really all you have to worry about here. And what I have enjoyed, I mean, as far as uploading goes, you know, unfortunately it is summer and this things happen. And also, the heat wave has actually been a pretty big problem because I normally do play this in an unair-conditioned room, and I am actually sweating balls right now, so that's just one thing going on in my life. And with these tops, you just have to make sure you don't overdo it when you're trying to move over. And they do rotate, and if you are on the edge, you might end up falling off. But that's just if you're unlucky now. And here we are at Top Man. His weakness is actually going to be the hard knuckle, but I'm just not using that because I haven't beaten Hard Man yet, but he does fall pretty quickly to the Mega Buster, or the Needle Cannon in this case. Man, I can't believe I slid late. But yeah, really all he does is just shoot tops and then spins at you. And that's going to be a nice little preview for Mega Man X3. But with that, Top Man is done, and we get the most useless weapon in Mega Man history. Well, except for one time, but you'll see it soon enough. But outside of that one time, we get the most useless weapon in Mega Man history, the top spin. And the main reason this weapon is so worthless is because you do have to basically run into an enemy in order to hurt him with it. And yeah, that's just something that makes it so terrible. And also it does run out like really quickly from time to time, and I've actually had that happen to me during the boss rush. And that is something that you can see in some other videos. But now we are here at Sparkman stage, and Sparkman stage is a lot trickier than Top Man stage. It features a lot more pits for one thing. There are these guys that like to shoot sparks in between them, and then you have to jump precisely in order to avoid them. Just like so. And these guys shooting sparks are pretty easy to deal with. Just like so. And yeah, what I do enjoy about this game is that it's a little bit more, or everything's more in a rhythm in this game compared to Mega Man 2. And, let's see, this is one game that is actually pretty fun to speedrun. Well, except for a few parts. And, let's see, these blocks are gonna try and carry me into the spikes, so I gotta be careful here. Just like so. And, there is a way you can, scroll this thing off, but, I haven't really figured out how yet. Because the problem is, whenever you try and scroll them off, it respawns. And, I think you might be able to scroll off the second one, but I don't really remember how. Let's see, let's just take care of you real quickly. And, that's a good thing about the arm cannon in this game, is that the, turbo fire makes it a lot quicker. And a lot easier to deal with everything. So let's just fall here. And let's see, the trash is a little bit tricky to deal with because they sometimes crush you at inopportune times, but fortunately it doesn't kill you. And let's see, with this stage it's a pretty nice rhythm, but there's also some things that are gonna screw you over, such as these appearing, disappearing nuts and bolts. And I know this part always gives me trouble. And yeah. That is just what happens. Okay, take two. Let's see how this goes. Let's just do this the easy way. Which also involves getting hit, which is unfortunate, but that's just part of the game. And let's see, really the tricky part about these things is when they like to knock you into pits. And let's see, pits aren't really as frequent in this game compared to the second one. I mean, I think the second one was more loaded with spikes than anything. But here we are at Sparkman, and what Sparkman does is he jumps around and shoots these things, and also shoots a big spark at you. But with the Shadow Blade, he is very easy to take care of, and 7 hits from that thing and it kills him. There we get a fairly useful weapon in the Spark Shock, and what the Spark Shock does that's a little bit different from everyone else is that it does freeze enemies. Except the problem is you can't switch to another weapon while an enemy's frozen. And I'll try and demonstrate that in the next stage, because last but not least we got Horton Min. And it's supposed to be after a shell, or something like that, or his exoskeleton, or whatever you want to call it. But here we are in a canyon for some reason. And time to take advantage of 8-bit programming and scroll these bees off. And with the bees, what they're gonna do is that when they drop, there's like 5 little other bees that come out and chase you around. And not really something I feel like dealing with. So let's just do this the easy way, and if you do stand on those blocks, jaws are gonna attack you. So that's just something to keep in mind. Well, it turns out I can't do it that way. Was kinda hoping I could cheese this section. Okay, let's just do it that way. And Rush Jet is a very broken weapon in this game, and that is one thing that they really had to nerf it on purpose for Mega Man 4 and beyond. It was because too many people just took advantage of it, and you know, that just made the game a little bit easy. But anyway, all I'm doing here is just taking care of these monkeys. I have figured out I think I have gotten this thing to jump over to the right before, but what I'm doing now is I'm just freezing him and running past him. You know, a more humane way to deal with monkeys, I guess. Then again, this isn't Battle of Olympus, so at least they're not being a big pain in the ass like they were back then. And let's see, with more things going on for summer, it's actually been a lot busier than I thought it would be, and you know, I was kind of hoping I could knock off all of Mega Man 3 within a week, but unfortunately that hasn't been the case. So what we're doing is just avoiding these jaws. And there's our next encounter with a mysterious stranger. Alright, just get under me. Thank you. And, Yeah, this one's a little bit different just because of the terrain, and, you know, the same principle applies, and they even give you health afterwards. Alrighty, let's just get this big jumpy guy out of the way. And finally we have made it to Horton Min, and, Horton Min's weakness is going to be the magnet missiles, and, you are going to end up getting hit quite a few times here, depending on how you react to those fists of his, because he just shoots 2 fists and then tries to crush you in the air, and if he does ground pound you, then you do end up getting hit extra, and it does a ton of damage too, so something you gotta keep in mind. But with that, all 8 robot masters are down. So now that we've gotten the last weapon, something new happens. So with that, I am going to call the video, so join me next time as I figure out this mystery. I will see you soon.